Hey, it's Andrzej on Software. Today I'm going to tell you why I'm keeping up to date with other technologies, not only the ones that I'm using, and how I'm doing it. Why I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up with other programming languages and other communities because I want to understand what is going on, what they discuss, and maybe if there is anything that they have solved in a way that is not solved in my community. I'm mostly about Ruby, Ruby on Rails, and JavaScript, React.js, Redux. So basically Ruby world and the JavaScript world, or more precisely React world. But there's lots of other words which are in some places they are much better than we are. Like they have solved some problems. We all deal with the same problems in different communities, but we rarely look at each other. But also, I don't want to spend too much time on learning what's going on because it's not really effective. I'm not using other languages in my daily job. So it's just that I need it for inspiration and how I'm doing it. So I have found a nice way which works for myself. It's subscribing to those weekly emails around specific technologies. For example, right now, what I see in front of my eyes is Scala Times. It's a weekly Scala newspaper, as they call it. It contains, 30 or something like that, links to some Scala articles, and I can open them and just quickly scan them and see what is going on. It's also interesting that all those emails, they come on Thursday, all of them. I don't know what's the reason, but Thursday is usually the same day. So it means that usually on Thursday, I see those emails in my inbox and I can review them. So Scala Times, I can see Python Weekly and some news from Python, again, a bunch of links. And I can see also, I just scan it like maybe 1 minute per email, and I see the topics. Like in Python, you usually see a lot of machine learning stuff. That's partially how I came to the artificial intelligence interest. I also have Ruby Weekly open, but with Ruby I'm more or less up to date anyway, so I'm just scanning if any of our blog posts appeared in the Ruby Weekly. This week there is no RKNC blog post, but there are some others interesting. Now I'm opening Node Weekly, which is another one about JavaScript on the server, and I have found some interesting articles here. So usually I open some, like right now I have 5 links open. One is about Scala and polymorphism in Scala. So I can look at the Scala syntax, I can see how they do polymorphism, which is interesting. Nothing doesn't solve my problems, but it's good to know how they do it, and maybe it can inspire me how to do it in Ruby or in other languages. Okay, it's not really that much interesting, so half a minute and then I can switch to the next one, which is about a simple Akka cluster application. So Akka is this actor framework on Scala, and it's super interesting, so I really want to be up to date what is possible with Scala because they're really ahead of any other community in terms of that. What's possible with Scala here. Okay, switching to another one. It's called Getting Started with Django Channels. So Django is this web framework for Python, and Django Channels seems to be the same as in Action Cable in Rails. So it means WebSockets built into the server-side framework, which is interesting to see because Active Action Cable is quite a new thing in Rails. I can see the Python syntax, good to be familiar with Python syntax for me, and I can see how this tutorial builds on this step by step. The next thing is a full-featured framework for building command line applications with Node.js. So command line applications, for some reason, is always something that I like, and I like looking at how it's done in other frameworks. Node is quite quick as a language for that, so with Ruby you always see the delay, and with JavaScript it might be actually better. And I can again get familiar with the syntax, see how it's solved, maybe get inspired how I can build some command line applications. And the last link I have open is make a Skype bot with Electron, so it's JavaScript, and the Microsoft Bot framework. So this is another benefit from reading about those other things, because we all can use the same APIs. So Microsoft Bot Framework is an API for building bots, and I've read about it already because that's quite close to AI. And it shows me a way how to do it from Electron, and I can see how the API is used, and I can get inspired what kind of bot I can build. So overall, using 5-6 minutes usually, or 10 if I read longer, I can get quite up to date once a week, and that's like my 1% of effort to keep up to date with those other technologies. And thanks for listening.